It's Friday afternoon and I don't have any bills due this time. So I was thinking go shopping and see how much I can make in one afternoon. Today while shopping, I've been thinking about something what people often say after losing a job. A lot of people say that losing a job teaches you how to save money. And I understand why they say that. When your income suddenly drops, you have to look more carefully at where your money is going. But what if you were already doing that? What if you were already budgeting, already tracking your expenses, already looking for ways to save? That's actually my situation. Even when I had a full-time job, I tracked my spending, planned my purchases, and avoided unnecessary expenses. I also saved a significant portion of my income. I invested for retirement, invested in taxable accounts, and pay extra toward my mortgage whenever I could. So when I lost my job, it wasn't like I suddenly discovered budgeting. I already knew how to budget and invest. That part wasn't new. The more I think about it, the more I realized that losing my job didn't really change the way I save money. What it changed was the way I think about spending. For years, saving money meant trying to get the best value, comparing prices, planning purchases, avoiding waste, waiting before buying something. But recently, I've noticed a shift. I'm no longer asking, how can I spend less on this? I'm asking, do I actually need this? And those are very different questions. One assumes the expense is staying, the other questions where it should exist at all. I never really thought about that distinction before, but now I find myself looking at expenses less as fixed part of life and more as choices. And that has been one of the biggest changes in how I think since losing my job. What actually changes how I think about resources. Some things move from normal expenses into decisions I actively have to reconsider. I already canceled my home internet and started using the library when I need access. Food banks are something I started to look into as a real option if needed, not as an abstract idea. I'm also in the process of rehoming my rabbits and quail. This isn't emotional, it's practical. These are ongoing costs and my situation is changing. And I've also started seriously thinking about relocating to a lower cost estate, because the cost of living here is extremely high. Property taxes are heavy, and even with income from delivery work and savings, a large part of my money goes toward just maintaining the basics. At some point, it stops being about optimizing spending and starts being about whether the environment itself is still workable. These are not easy decisions, but they are practical ones. Having savings helps, but it doesn't eliminate uncertainty. I'm grateful what I saved and invested while I was working. Those decisions are what allow me to stay stable right now. But savings are not an unlimited source of income. They are a buffer, not a replacement for income. And then there is no steady job income coming in. Every month becomes a calculation of how long that buffer can last. It's not just about spending money, it's about time. How much time those savings are buying, and how carefully that time needs to be managed. The goal isn't to spend savings quickly. The goal is to make them last as long as possible while I figure out what comes next. My work right now didn't really teach me how to save money. It taught me how to adapt. I already know how to budget and invest. That wasn't new. What's different now is flexibility. I'm learning which things are actually necessary and which ones were just habits I never really questioned. And even with savings and delivering income, there is still uncertainty about what comes next. Not because there is no income, but because the structure has changed. Before, income was predictable. Now it depends on work, timing, and decisions I make week to week. And that changes how everything feels. I'm not trying to solve everything at once. I'm just trying to understand what is actually sustainable right now. And I wonder what people actually change first when their income becomes uncertain, their spending habits, or the structure of their life. So I'm done for today. I had 3 orders. 2 of them were doubles, and I made about $92, including tips. So not too bad for Friday afternoon.